Hello there. My name is Nancy McBee and I'm with Trane. We're here to talk a little bit about Trane and what careers are available with Trane and a little bit about ourselves. As I said, my name is Nancy McBee and I'm an engineer and business development manager for Trane. Trane is a $13 billion global corporation. People know Trane and they think of heating and air conditioning. It's more than just heating and air conditioning. It's heating, air conditioning, control systems, environmental control of the buildings that you guys go to school in every day. And speaking of school, I actually went to Gibbs High School myself. And after that, the University of Tennessee, and I've ended up where I am. I'm going to introduce my two colleagues here. Next to me is Jason Land. He is a registered professional engineer who's an energy engineer with Trane's Energy Services Division. Randy Humphreys, to my far right. Randy is a senior HVAC service technician, I suppose. He is the top of the pyramid when it comes to heating and air conditioning and major systems. People look at their air conditioning units at their houses. Randy works on air conditioning units that are like 2,000 tons, and they serve the University of Tennessee Medical Center and University of Tennessee buildings, some major stuff. A little bit about me and what I do for Trane. As I said, I went to Gibbs High School, the best, GHS, and then I went to the University of Tennessee and majored in engineering. When I got out of college, I went straight to work for a competitor of ours, Johnson Controls, working in business development, technical sales, if you will, helping customers with the needs they have in their buildings from a heating, air conditioning, and controls perspective. I worked there for 8 years, and then I went to work for Carrier Corporation, another leading manufacturer in the world of heating and air conditioning. I left Carrier, I guess it's been 16 years ago, and came to work for Trane. In my position at Trane, I work in the Energy Services Group for Trane. And what the Energy Services Group does, we go into existing buildings and we look for anything and everything we can do that would save money, typically utility costs, electricity, gas, water, propane, anything that saves energy. And we try to assemble projects that pay for themselves through the energy they create. So that instead of giving the money to the utility company, you're giving money to upgrade your facility. We've done a whole lot of this type of work in the Knox County school buildings that all of you guys go to every day. We're actually getting ready to be replacing all of the old lighting technology in all of the schools and all of the ball fields with new LED, state-of-the-art LED lighting technology. And the cool thing about it, it's a really, really big project. It is totally paid for by the electricity savings it generates. And basically that's what I do, and we work with lots of school systems, our favorite being Knox County schools. We work with municipalities, hospitals, meet different types of people every day. And even though Randy is with Trane, he's actually not in the energy services part of Trane, so I think Jason here, who is on my energy services team, he is our lead energy engineer, and I guess I'll turn it over to Jason to tell you a little bit about what he does.
Sure. My name's Jason. I grew up in Tennessee as well. I went to Ooltewah High School right outside of Chattanooga. I came here and went to the University of Tennessee. Right out of school, I got a job at a company who does similar work, not a competitor, but in that job I got to travel all over the U.S., got to travel worldwide. It was really cool, to be honest. From there I came here to Trane. What I do here at Trane, Nancy was talking about going into buildings, looking for energy opportunities. What I do is I go in, I look at the lighting, I look at the HVAC, look at a number of people, schedules, a whole lot of different criteria, bring it back, make a simulation model out of the building. Then we go and do things like change out the lighting, like here at Knox County Schools, to see how much energy savings we'll get out of that. We then use that energy savings to pay for the project. I think that's it. There's a lot of other things I do from day to day, and be happy to answer any questions y'all have about it, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
And Randy, I guess that takes us to you.
Well, I guess I'm up. Well, it's great to be here with you today with the class that's getting ready to move in. Look, life's an adventure, and you're just getting ready to move into the new adventure. And I was sitting in that same seat a lot of years ago. But I grew up in East Tennessee. I grew up in Corrington, I went to Ritta Elementary School. I went to Gibbs High School, as Nancy did as well. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, what do I want to do? Really, where do I want to take to the next adventure? And there was a individual that I talked with, and they said, hey, the air conditioning industry touches so many different aspects. It touches carpentry, electrical, mechanical engineering. It touches structural engineering to a degree. It touches electronics, all sorts of things, chemistry with the refrigerants. And when it's not just air conditioning. You know, people say, hey, my air conditioning's broke. Can you come and take a look at that? They really don't understand all the aspects that goes into being able to even be able to troubleshoot the air conditioning. So there's so much to get into that, and it's just exciting. It's exciting every day. You're meeting new individuals each day. You're really going in to solve people's problems, and everyone has a problem when it becomes uncomfortable. Guarantee you that. And so you do get the aspect of being able to cover a wide variety of things over the whole circumference of all of those pieces that I sort of talked about there. But the field needs you. They need you tremendously. So it's something to think about. It's something to think about your future, your next adventure, where you're going, what you want to do. But the air conditioning industry is wide open, and they're really waiting for you. And so
That's a good point.
yeah. So
Because there's always going to be a need for heating and air conditioning. The built environment is here. It's here to stay. And we've gone through a weird phase here with COVID where the built environment has seemed a little less important, with all the virtual. But there's always going to be a need for the built environment and heating and air conditioning, and that's what Trane does. And I guess the three of us, we're trying to recruit you to come into our world. And I see we have questions popping up. I'll take that first one. What is the most rewarding part of your job? Most rewarding. I get to meet lots of really, really cool people every day. I mean, this week, just touching base with some of the people in the room. I've been to Mississippi. I've been in meetings with the University of Mississippi and in front of school boards in places like Tishomingo County, Mississippi. And then I get to come back here and work on things for Knox County Schools. So every day I get to meet different people. There's different challenges every day. But one of the most rewarding parts of my job is beating the competition. So that's going to answer that question. But I saw one on here that's just for Jason.
Yep. So the question is, Jason, what is the typical savings on a job you go to, savings and energy cost? So it ranges from building and building size. For a school, you're typically above $1 per square foot in energy cost. And we usually save 15 to 30% of that. So on, say, a 100,000 square foot building, similar to a small high school, you're looking at about $15,000 to $30,000 a year in annual savings. I've seen it up as high as 50 to 75 in a high school.
And I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. I just mentioned earlier the converting all the lighting in the Knox County school system to LED, which, you've got 90 some odd plus buildings. Jason, do you know offhand what the electrical savings is per year on that?
It is right at $1.1 million a year in annual savings.
$1.1 million. That's not going to go to KUB anymore. It's going to help pay for these upgrades. That's cool. Randy, do you want to take?
yes, what has been your biggest challenge on the job so far? Wow, that's a great question, because every day's a challenge, and there's so many challenges when you're going into a hospital and they're extremely hot in the hospital. You know, that doesn't go well. And so every day is a challenge to be able to troubleshoot. It's a challenge to communicate with the customers. Communication skills is a huge part of the job. It's a part of being able to communicate what you have in your mind to these facilities to where they can relax, to get that into their mind to say, hey, I'm here to take care of the problem. You can just relax. You can go take care of what you need to take care of, and we'll take care of it. That's what they're looking for. Matter of fact, that's what we're all looking for. We want to be able to go depend on someone to take care of the situation and know that they'll take care of it. So that takes an education. It takes matter of fact, like I said, I went to Gibbs High School, graduated high school, attended another 4 years to Refrigeration Service Engineering Society. So you take the more education you can get, the better foundation, the more comfortable you make people, and really it all comes back to you in the end because there is always a payday. So,
Well, and I want to tag on to something that Randy just said, talking about things that come on to us just out of the blue. And you mentioned hospitals. It's probably been 2 or 3 years ago, but time flies. East Tennessee Children's Hospital. For an easy way to say it, their air conditioning went down. What do? Well, they call Trane, and we got rental HVAC equipment, or rental equipment on site. Randy handled all the coordination on this, and they had a rental chiller, a rental air conditioning unit, sitting out on the street outside the hospital, providing cooling for kids. Because what do you do when a hospital loses air conditioning? They can't stay down. So within 24 hours, we had this huge piece of air conditioning equipment, and Randy had it hooked up, keeping everybody comfortable. So, and it seems like Jason's like really popular.
Yeah, I got another
Jason
question here.
Yeah.
So asking how many people are working on our team. The energy engineers here in Tennessee, there's 2 of us. We also have an extended team where we use third parties, people from other companies who come in and work under us and help do what we do. If you're talking extended team,
Project developers,
yeah, we've
project managers, job site superintendents. The whole energy team is probably
15 of us to 20.
like 15 or 20. And then how many service technicians do we have based in Knoxville?
I think there's around 10. So.
And then I see there was a question about how far you have to travel, Randy, for like a typical service call.
Yeah. So that does depend. It's our region, we cover Mississippi, and we cover. We don't have to travel that far most of the time. We go over into the Carolinas. So I know for a lot of. No, probably about 6 years of my career, I worked a lot for NASA down in Huntsville, Alabama, and on their air conditioning. So I traveled down there quite often, but not so much anymore. Most of the traveling now is within our Knoxville region. So we're not traveling out that far, maybe over into the Carolinas every so often, and maybe down into Chattanooga some, but not really that far anymore.
Yeah, with Trane, we're all based out of the Knoxville office, but just about any major city in the United States is going to have a Trane commercial sales office. So we have offices in Knoxville, Nashville, Chattanooga, Memphis, and the Tri-Cities. And there's other offices in Atlanta, Birmingham, all over the place. So what's another one?
See, next question here. What level of customer service do your positions need to have?
The ultimate. I mean, in our business, it's all about taking care of the customer. So I think that's top tier.
Absolutely. What would you recommend, a technical school or university? Me personally, I see a lot of value in either one. There's a huge, what is it, coming back around of the technical, I can't think of the word for it.
Trades,
yeah, trade schools.
Well, and I'll speak to that. Trane hires lots of engineers. We're both degreed engineers, and we hire lots of HVAC service technicians. I know that 7 or 8 years ago, Train came up with some educational enrichment programs that were geared towards getting kids to go into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we helped school systems implement these programs. About 4 years ago, Train started seeing fewer and fewer kids coming out of school for us to hire as future Randys. And so Train worked with the National Coalition for Certification Centers to develop some certification programs for HVAC service technicians. And the reason Train did that, we don't see enough people coming out of trade schools for us to hire to replace Randy. And we don't want to work forever. We need new people coming up who are interested in this industry. And so I guess to answer that question, don't think you've got to go to college to have a great career. There's plenty of people we work with that have amazing careers, and they skipped that whole UT or Ole Miss path and did something different and probably got jobs quicker when they got out of college.
Now, that being said too, me going to the University of Tennessee definitely changed my life,
Oh.
and was
Yeah,
great,
hey,
too.
UT's great. I wouldn't trade it, but yeah.
They're both great.
See,
Describe your daily interactions with other people in your position.
in your position.
Take that one, Randy, or?
Sure. Well, just there's a lot of dynamic personalities out there, as a way to say that. But interacting with people, I enjoy that. That, like I said before, communication skills is so high in the realm of what we do. I guess I lost my train of thought there, but I can't really expound that enough. But
And I'll say, you can be the smartest person in the entire world, and you can figure out a problem that nobody else can figure out. But if you can't share the solution, if you can't articulate that, we have some great mechanical design engineers we work with who design mechanical systems for projects. If they can't convey what they've put on paper, they're not that valuable. Communication is key, probably in anything and everything that you do.
yeah. They're so often anymore, people will show up to a customer and they're on their phone, doing a lot of things on that telephone. But customers are looking for what's up here. They're wanting to know what's your experience on that? What can you tell me about these things? Because they've already really looked through the phone. They've already looked through their iPads. And so they know that information, but they want to know experience. And you get that experience every day. Matter of fact, you're getting experience today in school. Each day, you don't really think about that, but when you get out of school, you think, wow, I learned a lot of things while I was there. And so keep that in mind. Don't let all those days just pass by, just a normal school day, because soon you're going to be putting everything that you learn to work. And whether that's in college, whether that's out here in the technical field, it's all challenging. It's all exciting. It's a dynamic career to get into. So we really enjoy it.
And it's like I've heard Randy say before, I hate the way these days it's like their kids are carrying their brains. I've heard, and you need to be taking care of what's up there and not counting on that iPhone.
So I got another question. What level of math is involved in your job? It's a good question. So I'd say on any day-to-day, putting this in school lesson terms, I use Algebra 1 stuff probably every day. Algebra 2, weekly, monthly. I've used calculus maybe once or twice actually working on something, nothing crazy. But in order to do the thermodynamics and the other disciplines that it takes to do this job, Cal 1, Cal 2, Cal 3, did some differential equations. It all tied in, but on a day-to-day basis, usually nothing too much worse than Algebra 2.
So what skills are important for your career field and specifically for your position? The communication skills we talked about. I mean, that's probably the primary one that's all tied together. Why did you decide to work for Train? Well, Trane's the leading manufacturer in the world of heating and air conditioning equipment. If you're going to be in this industry, why not work for the best?
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. When I was sitting there in your seat, just going in, just getting ready to go into high school. Once I entered into high school, went through the vocational. Actually, we did that at Halls High School. It's called Knox Union Vocational School at that point. But it was just exciting. And as far as the I lost my train of thought. What was that
I'm
question?
to feed into you.
Oh,
They've skipped.
yeah.
It's well,
went down.
skipped. Well, anyway, we'll just move on.
Hey, this next question, I think I can answer it well. Will Trane help me with education costs to move up higher as a technician or to another position? So since I've been with Trane, I've gotten my PE, my professional engineering license. I've got my certified energy manager certificate, my CEA, my CMVT, or CMVP. I've went to countless training. Each one of those is usually a couple $1,000s a piece, and then it's to go out and get that on your own without the company, and they've covered all those. There's also an MBA program. If I wanted to, or any of us wanted to, I believe we could go back and apply for it and get our MBA if we wanted to, and Trane will cover that.
Yeah, Trane's great about paying for continuing education.
What's the longest you've spent on a job and the farthest you've gone? So this is not with Trane, but this is from my last company where I did similar work, and it took me all the way to Okinawa, Japan, Sasebo, Japan, Guam. I got to go to Hawaii. I actually got to go do a energy audit on Pearl Harbor Navy base, which was pretty cool. But all over the United States. This job, we've been all over Tennessee and all over Mississippi, and see, will Trane help? Same question. Will Trane help? Same question. How do we go down?
What did you go to school for
Okay.
originally? I went to school to get an engineering degree, and people are like, well, why did you choose engineering? And I could come up with some amazing story about how much I loved math and science, but frankly, I did a search, and at that time it wasn't on your phone. I had to do some research, and the highest paid starting salary with a 4-year degree was engineering, so that's what I chose. How
I have
old?
no idea why Trane is named TRANE instead of is it? I believe our founder's last name was TRANE.
Reuben Train.
It was
Yes.
originally a heating company.
Yeah, because everybody spells it Train, but it is Trane, Reuben Train.
How old do you have to be to work there? 18.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, 18, and I think that's where we were going before, because back even in vocational school, I think up to my last year there I actually just had one class. That was an English class, and so as soon as that class was over, I would go to work for Trane, and I would work there. Sometimes I would work most of the night, and then get back up and go to school the next morning. But it was just because I really, really enjoyed what I did. And that, what's those saying? If you enjoy what you do, you never go to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. And so it is exciting to be able to do that. And but we can just continue on, I guess. Is there?
Yeah.
What is salary range for your career field? For me, starting out mechanical engineers is 50. Started off about 50K, and that was a little over a decade ago. It's probably
higher
went
than
up
that.
some now. The range, I mean, we have some mechanical engineers in our company that, above me probably make
I would say so.
$300,000 a year.
$300,000 a year. How often does Trane relocate employees? Never without your choice. You would be given a choice. Hey, do you want to move to Nashville and join that part of Trane? But you're never forced to
Yeah,
relocate.
I can't think of anyone I know of that's ever been
Me
forced to relocate.
What is Trane doing for environmental protection? Is Trane eco-friendly? Well, on the energy services business, that's all we do. Is everything we do is helping the environment. When you remove electricity consumption, you're removing carbon dioxide. There's all these CO2. There's, as part of our presentations when we're presenting these projects that are energy conservation, one of the slides we put up is what it does for the environment, and everyone is different. And based on the amount of utility reduction, there's corresponding reductions in contaminants in the air, etc. So
Our company's slogan and goal, I think, is to reduce the carbon footprint of the world one customer at a time.
Yep.
What
How is Train working around COVID-19 and successfully following the regulations and rules? Train probably has more strict rules regarding COVID than the state of Tennessee, or I'll just leave it at that. The state of Tennessee, extremely particular about how we deal with the whole COVID pandemic. We're actually not allowed to have lunch with customers or have lunch with each other because of COVID.
ride in a car together.
Yeah, we're not even allowed to ride in a car over here together because of COVID. So very strict guidelines.
Yes.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
experienced anything on the field side. But
Yeah, it's basically the same. You wear your mask when you're out of your vehicle, and so it's basically the same that you deal with on a daily basis as well.
What is Train's net worth? We're a $13 billion global corporation.
What college did you go to? We both went to
UT,
University of
UT,
Tennessee.
Minimum wage. Randy, what would an incoming service technician make who's fresh out of trade school?
Well, normally I would think that would probably be somewhere around close to $20 an hour. So not too bad.
With no experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just coming in somewhere around there, and so it's it differentiates a little bit as you go with experience.
They let us do a couple engineering interns a few years ago, and I think that was right where they started them out as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
For internships.
What was your guys' favorite subject in school, and what was your favorite part of going to school? I actually really did like math.
Yeah,
I hate to
agree.
admit it, but it was probably my favorite.
Me too.
Yeah.
Algebra 2, actually, I think. I had a really good teacher.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't so much math. Mine was more science, and so and all this filters in with the math, with the science, with all those things, like we said to start with. So hey, every subject is very, very important.
And it looks like we're wrapping down, unless there's one final question you guys see. Your favorite part of going to school? I don't know.
I enjoyed PE, to be honest.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Math, science, and PE.
Yeah. So it's just fun being there with one another, and
Yep.
and
You don't
take
get that.
don't let those days pass you by, because hey, pretty soon you'll never be able to say this is a class, 8th grade class anymore. You'll move on to a new adventure, and you're just getting ready to start into that, and just use every day as an adventure.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good. Hey, and remember, nothing can stop a train. Isn't that our slogan? Yeah.
Yeah. We
Thank
agree.
you, Nancy and Jason and Randy, for being here with us today to lead the session on Train and what career fields that you all offer, and sharing more about your experience. We certainly appreciate you being here today. And this concludes Day 5 of the Knox County Schools Career Expo.